Hello everyone. I'm making this video to respond to viewers' comments and just wanted to show the first comment for the rich black Europeans meeting poor black African slave descendants in 1930s video. So the first comment, since YouTube has a different generation, you're gonna need to make the comments where they are new first, so we can show comments that are being hidden. So let's get to the first one. Mikey Boy 4865 says, "How they poor when they own those cotton fields." Yep, they spin the narrative to support the African slave lie when they're indigenous American landowners. Okay, you're trying to say when they are. I think you're trying to say when they were indigenous American landowners, and it's okay if you mess up your sentences, because we all type fast and sometimes we have to edit, and I make the same mistakes too, so typos. So yeah, see how a picture can be looked at wrong. Research. Well, I did research, and I get a lot of my research from Lex Will, the YouTuber, because he shows all the receipts. But I usually refer to him when people want more in detail what I'm talking about, because I'm still learning all this stuff. I'm only 23, man. But yeah, but let's get back to the point. How they poor when they own those cotton fields. So are you referring to, turn the sound? I don't want to get copyright again, but so are you referring to these people on the cotton field? Is that who you're talking about? Or are you talking about the black Europeans? Which one are you talking about? Because these they did not own those cotton fields. According to history, the 5 civilized tribes. Let's go ahead and look it up right quick. The Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek or Muskogee, and Seminole. Those tribes owned all the lands in the South, specifically, like Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, just Mississippi, which this movie setting is in. Just think of the Southeastern Conference of the SEC, right? Football. All those lands. The reason they have a lot of, I don't want to say that point yet. It's owned by a lot of all those 5 civilized tribes, and they were also owned by black European colonizers and settlers. So, as far as the slaves, the freedmen, because that's where majority of so-called black American slaves were owned by, which were the Native American people. This is why the SEC, right? Football. You always have Negroes representing conference. You always have Negroes representing all of the South. You can do ACC too. So You know, all of these Southern Eastern Conference. I mean, all these areas in the South were all owned by Native Americans and Black Europeans. All right, these people right here, the freedmen, were owned by the Native Americans, and they were owned by the Black European, but majority were owned by freedmen based off the research. Did not own anything because slaves were owned by people. Okay? So, and I want to keep reading the other comments, and I'm going to go back to it. But they spin the narrative to support the African slave lie. Well, the African slave lie is true, and the indigenous landowners is true. It's just the indigenous landowners weren't Negro; they were Native American, and the African slave were Black African slaves and white African slaves. We're going to get back to the comment, but let's get to the next one. Your video description is wrong. Tether has no understanding of FBA history. Okay, so my video description is not wrong. It is not wrong. Because I'm pretty sure many people have people in their family that are Black, that had family that owned land 3 to 4 generations ago. I'm sure a lot of us have family that didn't own land and that were sharecroppers, like these Black people. So it is not, I mean, you could just go look it up on Google and YouTube. Many people, Black people, saying their family own land. You can't own land and be a descendant or direct descendant of slaves. You can have a mixture of both, but you can't. And then you called me a tether. So you followed Tariq Nasheed, right? So tether, surname. So the surname Tether can be traced back to individuals who worked with ropes or chains using or tethering, restraining animals. And then we're going to look up the word tether name. The word tether primarily means a rope or chain used to restrain something, usually an animal, to a fixed point. So in my opinion, this is just another way of calling somebody a slave. And we already know foundational means the principle or fundamental of something. So now we're going to look up foundational Black American meaning. Foundational Black American, FBA, is a term used to describe Black Americans who are direct descendants of enslaved people in the United States. It emphasizes a lineage-based identity, distinguishing them from Black people with more recent African ancestry. The term has gained traction with certain online communities and discussions about reparations and Black identity. Lineage-based identity. FBAs trace their ancestry back to the period of slavery in the United States, specifically to those who formerly enslaved and who were formerly enslaved and their descendants. Distinction from other Black groups. The term is often used to differentiate FBAs from black people with recent African immigration or those from the Caribbean diaspora. Focus on reparations. The FBA movement, often linked to the ADOS, American descendants of slavery, frequently centers on the idea of reparations for the historical harms of slavery. Potential for division. The use of the term FBA has been criticized for potentially creating divisions within the broader black community and for promoting a narrative that excludes or marginalizes other black groups. Controversies and criticisms. Some argue that the term FBA is exclusionary and divisive, creating a hierarchy within the black community. Others criticize the focus on lineage as means of determining belonging and rights, arguing that it can erase the shared experience and struggles of all black people in the United States. The term has also been associated with nationalist and separatist ideologies, which are seen as potentially harmful to the broader black liberation movement. Okay, so we're going to get back to that. Let's go back to the comments. American people, and all of them were not poor, just country. Also, this is a fictional movie, just like Roots is a fictional movie. Okay, so American people, and all of them were not poor, just country. No. Just like today, and back in the 1930s, as of how this movie was made, all American people were not poor. I mean, all American people were not rich and not poor. You had rich, middle class, poor, immigrants, all that. Nothing has changed. And then you said just country. Well, you have a lot of people calling white people white trash because they're from the country, but you have black people. don't we do the same thing? They call black people country when they're from the country. And also, you're correct. Just because your country doesn't mean you're poor. However, just because you are on land, especially in the 1930s on a plantation, doesn't mean that you own the land and that you are not a poor sharecropper. So, regardless if you're black or white. Also, you said this is a fictional movie. Well, yes, those characters, never, like Michael B. Jordan, he never did those things. Ryan Coogler, those actors never did those things. This might not even be based off a real setting, but it actually is. If you can see the relation through specific parts in history and through your own personal experience through family lineages. And really, when you had said that Just Like Roots is a fictional movie, that kind of made you sound more opinionated. Because, I guarantee you, if those were white actors, you wouldn't call it as fictional, and even if you did call it fictional, you would still not oppose it because it fits your narrative. Because you believe that the white people were the slave owners and the colonizers, but that's not true. We can look at some other comments right quick before we start doing some more. Where do you think the descendants of majority of the black Europeans are today? Well, according to the Most High, they're everywhere. Most High said that Edom, who is the black European, is going to be everywhere where Jacob is, either enslaving him, exploiting him, or going to be having a hierarchy over him, which is Pan-Africanism or Black Power. And through history, the black Europeans are everywhere with either European last names that are of English, like Johnson, Jones, British, White, Williams, German, Kugler, Thiessen, Adolf, French, Jean, Baptiste, Old Norse, like Anderson, Irish, McCarthy, O'Neill. So I'm saying anywhere in the world where you see a black person, especially with dark or swarthy skin, that's where the majority of black Europeans are. So, which would be like West Africa, Central Africa, South Africa, East Africa, Oceania. Yes, Oceania. We already made a King George III video of a Tonga man named King George in Tonga. You also got Caribbean, the French in Haiti. You also got the Black American, you're called FBAs. So, yeah, they're everywhere today. And here we go. Yes, some people have brown complexion European in their families. They came here and married the American. Mostly men came, so they married the American woman, which would make the children American. Matriarchal line. Well, see, a lot of people learned this ideology from Dane Calloway. And some people learn it from 432 Drop. Was it 432 Con Drop Radio? And just to show you who these people are. Well, yeah. You already know who Dane Calloway is, but what they don't tell you is that those black people who mixed with the American had black slaves too. That's what they don't tell you. So you can believe that they mix with an indigenous woman, but the truth is, they did not. They had black slaves, and those Indians that they mixed with also had black slaves. I'm gonna show you. Negro slave owners. Oh, wait, what's this? I need to look this book up. But let's go. Black slave owners. You can go research a bunch of books on black slave owners. And also, these black people owned white people too. Alright? We're going to explain why that's important. You said some people have brown complexions, right? Well, the thing about that is, all of the Europeans weren't super dark. Some had copper color too. If you look up first European, black. He doesn't even look black. He's like a red cheddar. So, you know. But let's get back to the point. We're gonna go to the other video before we get to more. Okay. Black Europeans never enslaved, so they were never transported as indentured servants. Besides, what are you even talking about by the 1800s? It doesn't matter what kind of black you were enslaved. You couldn't read or write and had the black laws put on you. What are you saying? They dodged the Jim Crow era? Or something like, bro, back up your points, show and prove this ridiculous, just false. Wait, did I actually like this comment? Hold up. Did I like this comment? Yeah, okay. Ridiculous, you just spreading false information about what you what you hashtag think happened. By the way, bro, you would have to show proof of Khoisan being the black slaves of America claims and the majority of blacks being Europeans. And you have to debunk the fact that you were so-called that they were so-called black Indians. Even Abraham was described from first-hand accounts that he was as swarthy. Who was Abraham? Are you referring to Abraham Lincoln, or are you referring to biblical Abraham of the Bible? Who are you talking about? You're just showing black folks with different phenotypes, with no historical proof or migration patterns or cultural similarities or genealogy matches. Just a movie and some pics with no titles on them, huh? It's said in the book Asian Slaves in Colonial Mexico that natives came over in the 1560s as Chino Slavs, or slaves, I think that's what you're trying to say, and later were called Mexican and Indian. My point is, the date and the people go against what you believe. This book's facts proves natives aren't the first people, and first-hand accounts and other books from many scholars describe the Indians looking for copper to swarthy as well. Okay, so alright, let's go back to the well, we can go ahead and talk to these comments. Alright. Black Europeans never enslaved. Yes, that is a fact. Black Europeans were never enslaved. So they were never transported as indentured servants. Not necessarily. The difference between slavery and indentured servitude is that slavery, you were literally owned by another person forever. Life. And your next generation and your next generations. You didn't earn no money. You didn't count any taxes. You didn't own any property. You didn't have any businesses. You didn't work for no... All you did was listen to your slave owner. Indentured servitude is when you sign a contract to pay off debt. And based off the research, the debt that the indentured servants did was only 3 to 4 years. So imagine you come in on somebody's land and they say you have to work 4 to 7 years to pay off your debt. which means you go work for them. You still earn money, but you're working for them. And then once that 4 to 7 years is done, then you own. Then you're able to get citizenship in the United States. Slaves, on the other hand, didn't get citizenship until the 13th, 14th Amendment. It's just they applied it to indentured servants too, because they were trying to get rid of the practice of labor in America. But indentured servants weren't owned by anybody. They were doing, yes, another form of slavery, but they weren't owned by another person. And they weren't transported off a boat as a slave in chains. But yes, black Europeans were never enslaved. They were never enslaved. If that was the case, then there wouldn't be many black Americans walking around with British, German, and French last names. So, you said the 1800s, it didn't matter what kind of black you were. You couldn't read or write. You had the black laws put on you. No, slaves couldn't read or write. The settlers, the citizens could. So, it didn't matter if you were black or white. There were white people that couldn't read or write. Like you keep that's the thing, you keep saying it's one race. Dude, go look at the poor areas in America, man. Go drive around. You're not just gonna see black people, man. You're gonna see white people too. Go on YouTube talking about white people talking about they had people in their family pick cotton. It wasn't just so-called black that were slaves. Do you really think people in this lifetime that all go by color code had the same history? No. That'd be ridiculous. So, yeah. Now, if you want to talk about Reconstruction, when white immigrants came over after the Civil War and changed all the black, rulership of America and made everything segregated to keep blacks dominating whites. Yes, you could bring in the Jim era where, they had the black laws. But those black laws were not put necessarily on the black slaves. The black laws were put on black European people because black European people were dominating America because they founded America. Black Europeans founded this country, wrote the Constitution, wrote it. Benjamin Franklin said in his quote, and in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion. Who founded this country? The Spaniards. They founded California, Texas, Florida. Who founded? Second, the French. Midwest, like Detroit, Chicago, Louisiana. And then you had the British. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. They founded this country. And look what they said. Look what Benjamin Franklin said about them in this quote. Majority were swarthy, which is dark skin. And you're saying I don't have any evidence. Well, I actually do. I don't have the books because I don't feel like spending money on a bunch of books where someone could actually do the research for me, which they already had. But you're probably gonna call him, a tether or whatever, right? So let's go to my boy channel. I don't know this person definitely, but he. Let's go to his channel. I forgot his name. I think this the Neophyte. What was his name? I hope this is correct. Yes, here we go. Neophyte Dag. We're gonna type in George Washington. Buddy. Black George Washington. I've already saved a lot of his books. I already saved that book. I just didn't buy it yet. But he said, Black George Washington, the first black president of the United States of America. Black King George. Black children of Israel, Jacob. Ooh, that's not the one I'm looking for. Black president of Abraham Lincoln with the sources in the books. Black Confederate leader Robert E. Lee. Abraham. Like, dude, this person been researching all of the stuff you're saying I can't prove. But what? So let's look at your channel. You call yourself an Indian because you say you have copper colored skin, but you have afro hair. What do you like? What videos do you have? Nothing. You want to call yourself an Indian, but you ain't got no video proof. And you can't source nobody. And you better not say Dan Calloway. Because Dan Calloway is pseudo. Pseudo. You better not say 432 Con Drop Radio. Pseudo. You better not say Camiro Ahu. Pseudo. And I got other people too. Lex Will. Go watch YouTube with Lex Will. He got all his stuff too. Lex Will. He just made a video about another black European, Bernie Mac. Lex Will got all the videos to prove you that they were black Europeans and that they were never slaves. Alright? So, yeah. So you're the one spreading false information. By the way, bro, you would have to show proof of the Khoisan being the black slave. I don't have to show you nothing, but so I'll tell you this. So
stole our people and take them to America, stole them there, take them to America. Sinds hulle of in Amerika, dit dan get prekonessel, raps, so das guy burger, die raps, caliber, Afrikaans, English and dialect. You don't get it in America. You don't get it anywhere else. And you get here. It's brewed here, homegrown, out of the slavery days, you know. When the people came here and stole our people and take them to America, stole them there, take them to America. Since here, homegrown, out of the slavery days, you know. When the people came here and stole our people and take them to America, stole them there, take them, when the people, it's brewed here, homegrown, out of the slavery days, you know. When the people came here and stole our people and take them to America, stole them there, take them.
So you have a Khoisan man in Cape Town, in the poor, in the hood, right? Telling you, and this is my first time hearing this, saying that they know that they took black Khoisan, or it's really black Thai Asian slaves, because the so-called slaves were captured by Africans out of Asia. like Thailand, Siam, aka the Israelites. Alright? Because that's what you're trying to get to. See, it's all about that Israelite. It's all about that Israelite heritage. That's what this argument is about. Cause look, it don't matter if you're from America, Thailand, Denmark, Oceania, Africa. People just want to claim that Israelite royalty, heritage, and land. And I'm letting you know, bro, it ain't in America. It's in Thailand, Cambodia. They have many kings named David over there. And Solomon, or Suleiman. So, but you have a Khoisan man, or an Israelite, right? Telling you.
Into America, since lot of gangsterism, drug abuse, when the people is brewed homegrown.
And I guarantee you, if I met him, he'll show me some books. You ain't got nothing. You don't have anything to prove that I'm wrong. And you know what's funny? You can't show me an African telling me that you guys were royal. No. I don't want to hear that you're an American. The Africans, they're calling you American because you're mixed with Native American and you're mixed with white. They're not calling us or you American because they know you were, royal. They're calling you American because you have Native American DNA in you from mixing with Native Americans. What they do say is that you are royalty of Africa or a slave from Africa. But they don't say that you're a slave from Africa because because you're Black American. The reason they say that you were a slave, and I'm pretty sure it's because it's a hierarchy of black power. So if you didn't know, the dark-skinned black man, the dark-skinned black man, is the hierarchy of the black community, and the light-skinned black man is the lower caste, which is bad. But or people who are mixed multitude, so-called, are at the bottom of the black power hierarchy. And that's why they say you're slave, because the slaves that the people that they call at the bottom in their country are the people of so-called Bushman heritage or mixed multitude, and those are the people of Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, aka the Khoisan, the San tribes. The dark-skinned blood people are at the hierarchy. So that's why they come over. They might say, "Oh, you're my brother. You don't know what African you are like me, right? I'm dark-skinned." Y'all don't think everywhere I go, when I'm around Africa, y'all don't think that when I'm around African people in Jamaica, you don't think that they call me their brother or say, "Oh, do you know what African you are?" You don't think they said that? Of course I know they say that. So, but everybody in my family don't have that phenotype. I got light skin, brown skin, dark skin, all that. Mixed with a lot of stuff. And I got white in my family too. About 4 generations back, I think. So, but yeah, the black Africans, they can't back up of them belonging to you unless you look like them. But you don't. You look more of the so-called, slave DNA genetics. So yeah, there was a Khoisan man backing up his people in America, but you can't find one African backing up, you know, saying that you were royal. They say that you are American, but they don't say you're royal to America. They say you're royal to Africa, or you were a slave. And then you were saying Abraham. Like, can you please just reply in the comments? I don't understand. So I'm just gonna guess. Abraham was described first accounts that he was as swarthy as Indian. If you're talking about Abraham Lincoln, you're correct. I mean, Neophyte Dag has already talked about Abraham Lincoln being swarthy. If you're talking about that. But if you're talking about Abraham in the Bible, yes, Abraham in the Bible was black. He was red. But he wasn't black skin because he was a Shemite. And both Jacob and Esau were black, man. I've already showed videos. So and then you said you have to debunk the fact that there were so-called black Indians. Yes, you're right. But those black Indians had slaves too. And I'm going to show you that part too. So let's go to my channel again.
And where are they?
We're going to show another video of when he said this black English man, yes, black European, who's mixed with Native American, said that his father came from England and married an indigenous woman, and they had black slaves. Let's go.
Toughen man with the printer, the Moki Rebel, the Indian. Called, Introduce yourself, my brother. My name is Eagle Eyes, so-called. I'm a Banks, you understand? My people came out of Okeechobee River down in Cincinnati, Southern Georgia. I'm a full-blooded Muskogee Indian. All right, you're a full-blooded Muskogee. Muskogee. Muskogee, Muskogee. And where are they normally from? They're normally from a place called Tweed County, Georgia. A river ran behind my grandmother house called Okeechobee River. And the Indian got the name from the Okeechobee River. And my people were down there, they never were slaves down there. They had 28 slaves. And a lot of people they never were slaves down there. They had 28 slaves. And a lot of hold on. They never were slaves down there. They had 28 slaves. And a lot hold on. I gotta hear that again. You said your people. My people, which was Savior Allah, the Prince Hudson, man with the Prince of the Hudson River, that's my great-grandpa. I come from them until they came up from London, England. They married my grandma, which was a Muskogee Indian. I got the rock on and my D-made match and everything.
You heard that?
Man with the Prince of the Hudson River, that's my great-grandpa. I come from them until they came up from London, England. They married my grandma, which was a Muskogee Indian.
Right. Say it came from London, England.
Got the rock on and my D-made match and everything. He got the Episcopalian, got Episcopalian around 127th Street and 5th Avenue. Now you talk.
He said that he had the genealogical records.
About having slaves as well. Well, Sarah Hudson and my great-grandmother and that Prince Hudson, they had 28 slaves. Wow, yeah.
You heard that? Remember, he's part of y'all so-called Black American community. Right? I mean, my bad. Black Indian indigenous. But he just said that he owned, his grandfather came from London, England, a black European. Not no white man, a black European came over and mixed with a Muskogee Native American. Now, we didn't get full detail of how his of who the person he mixed with, but uh, if he mixed with a Muskegee woman, right? That and they had slaves. That's letting me know that that Muskegee woman was a black European too, who called themselves Muskegee, or they were an indigenous dark-skinned Muskegee. Because if you didn't know, the Indians were dark-skinned when they came over, but they had straight hair. All right. See that? That's a real indigenous person. That's a slave descendant or a European. Real Native American. That's not a black person. That's a Native American. That's a Chinese Asian person. All right. Native Americans were Chinese and Native. Chinese and Asian. No Negroes over here. But yeah, he literally just said he had slaves.
Were they Africans? No, they were regular black people. They were the regular black people, for I know. Now, how do you just?
You see that? He just told you they were black people. Oh my gosh, bruh. He just told you that they were black people. Good question, Sonata. Were they black people? Yeah, they were black people. Regular black people. Let's play it again.
Her husband and my great grandmother and grandfather, Prince Hudson, they had 28 slaves.
Wow, they had 28 slaves?
28 slaves.
Were they Africans?
No, they were regular black people. They were.
You heard that? They were black people. And he calls himself pure American Indian, even though he just said his grandfather came from London, England, a black European, and mixed with a Native American woman. And remember, you might think, well, he has a Native American phenotype. Well, he has high cheekbones and red and brown copper skin. But look, the first ancient European had copper skin too, buddy. They call him Cheddar Man. See how is a deep copper. High cheekbones too, straight hair, but Negroes, buddy.
They were the regular black people, for I know.
Now, how do you define?
See, he just said regular black people. He just said regular black people. He didn't say black Indian. He said because he said he black Indian. And you know why that's important of what he said, regular black people? Let me show you why. Let me see why in here. Style. I'm gonna try to put it there. Talking about people like this. See these afros? That's what he talking about. That's what he's talking about. But look, that's what he's talking about. Right? Regular, but That means nothing. And we know why this is important, because in our community we talk about good hair and bad hair. The people with the good hair are the so-called black Indians. People with the bad hair are the black people, right? And this man, he just said his people. Look at he had. That's a rat black person. He just says people came over to the Americas as slaves, and he's saying that he owned those people. So you're saying that I don't have any evidence? I do. Your own dude just said that he owned. Remember, you don't look nothing like him. Dude, you look Negro. You're a Negro. Right? Even though there were Negro settlers that came over too. But, you know. So I'm just saying that the black Indian you're going by is not what you think it is. So,
Slaves.
Well, slaves, they didn't treat them like the Europeans kept the slaves bad. They didn't treat them like slaves. They had them, they kept them, they fed them, and they gave them jobs, and they treated them nice. You know, it was a different type the way the Europeans did. But what happened, they didn't have no freedom. So when she had my other grandmother, which was Nassau uncle, which was my dad's grandmother, she came by and she said it was wrong to happen. To have a slave in 20s, and then that's when they got rid of them.
But when it came time to discipline them, how was the discipline brought on?
Well, the discipline, right, they had to work for it. They got a little bit of money, you know, they didn't make it work, but then they got a little bit of money, and they couldn't go nowhere. They didn't have nowhere to go, because they had no money.
Okay.
You know?
All right, family, it's a little windy out here, so y'all might hear a little wind. But yeah, brother, thank
you just said that they had 28 slaves. So how could they not treat them bad? They are slaves. Like, now I don't believe saying that he didn't treat them. We weren't there, but you know.
Prince Hudson, they had 28 slaves.
Wow, they had 28 slaves?
28 slaves.
Was it African?
Remember, your so-called your so-called leaders. This is your leader, the black Indian. He just said he had 28 black slaves. Black. Right? So let's go back to the 5 civilized tribes. Now remember, when the Europeans came over, they mixed with they created their own black towns next to Indian towns. And a lot of them intermingled with the civilized tribes and became, one. You know what happens when an American mixes with an Indian? They become, they claim that they're Indian. So my, I guess for this person is maybe his the reason that a lot of black people say they're he's able to claim Indian is because when he came over, he looked like this. His grandfather looked like where is looked like, dang, I lost it. Dang, try to find it. Oh, this one, yeah. Looked like this. That's why. And they intermingled with people that look like this to make him. Him. Oh no. Him. Or it could have been more full black and intermingled and made him. So that's probably why he was able to claim the Indian heritage. But not all Native Americans claim the black Europeans of being part of their heritage because a lot of them felt separated from them. So, so we just debunked your comment. And then you said you're just showing black folks with different phenotypes with no historical proof of migration patterns or cultural similarities or genealogy matches. Okay. Historical proof. I don't have to. There's people already making channels on it. Go watch Neophyte Dag, Lex Will. Go watch Lex Will. He has this is the master of this stuff. Any question you ever had about, he'll answer all that. Lex Will got you. And then you got I forgot her name, Uncompromised. I forgot her name. You go to her channel too. So I don't gotta prove you. There's people who've already done it. So I just showed you the YouTube channel name, Lex Will and Neophyte Dag. It's more people, but now Dane Calloway, he's lying to you. 432 con drop, lying to you. Camaro, kind of lying to you. Kind of. You said migration patterns. Lex Will's already explained it, and then there's no evidence of Negroes migrating over to the Americas. Now you have Indians who had Australoid, or was it Melanesian DNA? Because there was a fossil named Luzia in a Brazil cave, right? Luzia woman that they said the first discovery they said was half Australoid and Melanesian, but that's only one fossil. So it doesn't matter. You can't, besides this unfinished prototype, you can't show me proof of migrations of Negroes to America. You cannot. I can show you proof of black Europeans coming over to America. Go watch Lex Will. He got it. Neophyte Dag. They got the documents. You don't. Or genealogy matches. I just showed you this Khoisan man saying he's seen his people in his. He said that his people seen people get sent over to America. So what are you talking about? And then this dude, the dude I just showed you, he just said that his family owned slaves and he was a black Indian, which is a black European mixed with indigenous dark-skinned native. That's not Negro. And you said just a movie and some pics with no titles. Well, you're just saying that because the actors are black.
Hey guys, this black.
Like if the people in the movie, if they were white, you would never made those comments. But you're going by the lie. You believe the Europeans were white, but they were black. And then you're thinking that the Indians were different from the black Europeans. They were. You're thinking that the black slaves are different from the black European. You're thinking the black slave is the black Indian. I'm letting you know that's not true too, because that man just said that he is black Indian, and his family owned black slaves. And I think I'm not trying to make it. This video's already too long, but let me go back to this part.
I didn't believe back in the day watching Long Ranger and the Tonto and seeing all these couple of Elaine, she first did the research, found out we were Muskogee Indian. I was dealing with the Cherokee side, she was dealing with the Muskogee side. So one day my son, I knew my grandmother on my mother's side, which was my dad's mother, she was Cherokee. My dad's side was the Muskogee. Thank you. She was somebody on the thing, which is green, saying D.A. match yours, and he's a Muskogee Indian. So I don't know. That's when I found out. So now I'm a Cherokee and a Muskogee. But I'm a Cherokee too.
Okay.
And so on one side, you got two sides. You got a mother, you got a father.
Right.
On my mother's side, I'm a Cherokee, but I'm telling about I'm a Cherokee. You know why?
Why?
Every black person you see is a Cherokee.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
Every black person you see is a Cherokee.
Oh.
You see, you don't like saying that because you got people like this in my comments thinking that they a Cherokee, the Indian. But dude, they ain't. He's like, dude, the real, the black Indian's laughing at you, bro. He owned you. He owned you.
And then,
Why?
everybody, I'm telling about Cherokee. You know why?
Why?
Every black person you see is a Cherokee.
Yeah.
Cherokee, but I'm telling about Cherokee. You know why?
Why?
Every black person you see is a Cherokee.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
Every black person you see is a Cherokee.
Oh.
And they had a grandmother there way down there.
Uh-huh.
You know? So I am a Cherokee. I'm a true Cherokee. And I'm way down there.
Uh-huh.
The person you see is a Cherokee.
Oh.
And they had a grandmother there way down there.
Uh-huh.
You know? So I am a Cherokee. I'm a true Cherokee.
See? He just said he's a true Cherokee. So he's not claiming. So people talking about they're organic Indian. They're not an inorganic Indian. They're organic. No, sir. He just said that he is, and you're not. You're either a slave of the Indian, or you're a settler who came over and was not really intermingled with other races. So, yeah.
Cherokee. And my mother, I thought you were the Cherokee, and you don't even tell nobody. You tell me Muskogee. Because when you say Muskogee, they don't hear that. But the Muskogee Creek. The creek, that's Muskogee Creek, and the creek come from, you got the creek come from Muskogee came out of Georgia. The Punch came out of Alabama. We both creek. But one came out of Georgia, the other came out, the creek came out of Georgia, and the Punch came out of Alabama. So this is why I am a Cherokee. You go to the book, you can look me up on Cherokee, full-blood Cherokee. And my picture's in Washington, D.C. You go to Washington, D.C., you'll see my picture, I'm a Chief.
Well, he's a fool because he was black European that looked like this. That he has the phenotype. Right? And they claim him and mixed with someone like this. That's why.
I became a Chief.
But all black people didn't mix with natives. Because, a lot of black people like their blackness. So, that's why there were Negro towns where none of them were mixed with Native American. They were just Negro. Some of them were.
Chief, I never wanted to be no chief. I was just saying about who I was, being native. A Bible black by the name of Chief Mayo out of Long Island. He was Cherokee, right? And he was born in River here, and he passed away. And he told, I didn't think I told on his dying bed, he would tell me, he gonna leave me a cheese. And the girl by the name of my Jeanette, she told me, she said, you better put that in writing because you're going to have trouble out of these people thinking they're more into you, and it shows you do the cheat. And I was thinking about cheat, so I was sitting on my couch one night, and a flash came through the thing.
Alright, so, yeah. I basically debunked. Well, I want to talk. You saying just a movie? Dan Calloway uses movies, and they're all fake. Dan Calloway uses pseudo black Indian paintings. We don't even know if those black Indian paintings came from Asia. Like, for example, right? People love to show these paintings, right? We don't even know if these paintings were actually in America. They could have been from Asia, right? You guys love to show these black Indian paintings, so I can't show pics. Come on now. So you already debunked, and you said the Asian slaves in colonial Mexico that came over in the 1560s as Chino slaves, and later were called Mexican and Indian. Keyword what you said. You said Asian. You didn't say Negro, you said Asian. And this is what you're talking about. That's what you're talking about. But they're still not. That's my point is though, right? Because I don't agree that they're still categorized as Asian. And then you said, my point is the date and the people go back or go against what you believe. The books prove that natives aren't the first. They're not. I told you, the so-called native first people of America came from Asia. They migrated. Right? And you saying many scholars say that describe the Indians looking coppers to swarthy as well. Well, they're dark too. They were dark too. You see this woman? That's a Native American. That person dark. She ain't Negro, but she's dark. So what are you talking about? And then, right, what you don't understand is the reason you believe the so-called Indians were indigenous. I might be wrong. Is because you believe that the Israelites are over here, and that the holy people were in America. And I'm letting you know that ain't true. The Holy Land is again Siam, Thailand, Asia. Not now. Ayutthaya. This is where the Holy Land is. Thailand. Ayutthaya. That's where Israel is. It's Ayutthaya because before the 16th century there was no letter J. It was I. Ayutthaya. Called by the Dutch. The Ayutthaya Kingdom. The name with the Most High's name, Haya, on there. And then you have Cambodia where the Angkor Wat was at. The Angkor Wat. We already made videos of what Siam Reap is. Siam refers to the Hebrew word Saim, which means Shem. Angkor Wat. This is another place of where the Khmers, ancient Khmers, or the so-called, I believe, Judah, were with the Siamese Israelites in Judah as well. So you're trying to look for Israel. That's what I'm translating. You're trying to I'm letting you know, buddy. Israel ain't in America. It's in Thailand. That's why there were no blacks over here, because there was nobody over here. It was straight separate descendants of Cain. But Israelites weren't over here. They were in Asia, Thailand. Okay. Let's get back to the other comments. How they poor when they own those cotton fields. Yep, they spin the narrative to support the African slave lie. When they're indigenous American landowners, see how a picture can be looked at wrong research. Okay, so did black American sharecroppers own land in 1920s? Let's read this to you. In the 1920s, most, because that's where the movie was in, 1920s, 30s, and we can put 30s too. Most black American sharecroppers did not own land. Majority. Sharecropping was a system where black farmers rented land from white landowners and paid with a portion of their crops. Some black farmers did acquire land through sharecropping and other means. Okay. Sharecropping emerged after the Civil War as a way for former enslaved people to work the land. Landowners provided land, tools, sometimes houses, and sharecroppers paid a portion of their crops. Okay, but the truth is, sharecroppers didn't own anything because sharecroppers were poor. They were descendants of slaves, whites and blacks. The ones that did have land, they mechanically picked cotton with machines because they had money from lineage of coming to America. Slaves, descendants, on the other hand, didn't. That's why they hand-picked cotton. You can't be poor, you can't be rich and hand-pick cotton. That's just a waste of your time. Alright? Like in the clip, they're literally hand-picking cotton. He's wearing a suit. You know why he's wearing a suit? Because he was never a slave. Just like they were never, just like y'all like to talk about Black Wall Street. We can't, look at this. Wearing a suit. Got tore down by whites, right? But but like wearing a suit, he was still rich. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Founder of Black Wall Street. O.W. Gurley. Look at a successful black man with a suit, just like Michael B. Jordan. Black slave descendants didn't build what Wall Street. The people who were the free black people before the Emancipation Proclamation, aka the black Europeans, built Black Wall Street. Let me tell you why this is important, since you're calling it fictional. Right? You see this? You see this image? I can't really show it. Oh, let me see. It won't let me get to the picture. But this is an image of my grandfather, Grover Tyson Sr., picking cotton in Alabama as a teenager in 1950s and 60s. it won't show. I don't have the pit. Like it won't show him. I did. I have to go find a picture again. But this is my grandfather. He was outside with overall in Alabama picking cotton with his bare hands, just like in this movie. And then my great grandfather, let me go back, sorry. My great grandfather, Jesse Tyson, was picking cotton in Alabama. He almost has the same exact outfit as Omar Benson when he was picking cotton. Same outfit. And this was the 1930s, bro. My bad, 1950s. He was like 50, 60 years old at the time, but 50s. Picking cotton. You see that? Hand picking. Just like Omar was in the movie. Picking cotton. And guess what? While my great grandfather was picking cotton in the 1950s, guess what O.W. Gurley was doing in the this is the 1800s. Whew. 1800s, gosh. Remember, this is the 1800s. Oh no, he was born in 1800, sorry. So if you do the math, 1867. So let's go to Wikipedia. Sorry. When was Black Wall Street invented? 1906. In 1910s and 20s. So this was basically the 1950s of my great grandfather picking cotton. So that means he was probably picking cotton as a teenager, which is probably 30 years ago or 40, and he was 1910. He was doing the same thing. So that means when my great grandfather was picking cotton as a teenager. This is him as a 50-year-old man, I think. When he was picking cotton as a teenager, O.W. Gurley was inventing Black Wall Street. He was building Black Wall Street, and he's wearing the same. Look at that. Sorry. You see that? That matches. Same outfits as Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo them wear. The black European and the slave. Now I'm not saying that my ancestor was a slave. It could have been indentured servant. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I could be wrong. I'm still trying to learn more. But this picture that I have is not fake. You clearly see him picking cotton barehanded with the same outfit Omar got on. That's why I feel a connection to this. A lot of y'all in the comments don't feel it because y'all don't know, y'all don't have proof of this. Show me evidence that you got a family picking cotton. I got evidence. I got 2 generations. My great grandfather, Jesse Tyson, and my grandfather, Grover Tyson. Alright? Y'all don't have evidence. I do. So, and you might think, well, he could have been still rich. He still could have had money. Well, let me tell you, the mechanical did poor farmers mechanically pick cotton? So remember, mechanically pick cotton is when they use the cotton machines to get the cotton. Alright? Remember, once you create the machine, the hands-on person job is gone. I'm going to say this again. Once you create the machine, the hands-on person's job is gone. So, you know, that should let you know that this person was poor. Because once they got that machine, he was done. Alright? And the last comment, American people, and all of them were not poor, just country. Also, this is a fictional movie. Well, that's your belief, okay? So like for example, right? Let's type in Vikings. Dane movies. Okay. And for example, they got all these amazing Viking movies. But the truth is, the Vikings were from the tribe of Dan. The tribe of Dan. The Tuatha De Danann. The tribe of Dan were black Israelites. One of the sons of Jacob. Why is it they're showing whites as the ancient Vikings in these movies? Vikings weren't black. Vikings weren't white. They had white slaves. They mixed with white people and had white slaves, but they were not white. And I believe this is fictional. So you're saying that it's a fictional movie. This is a fictional movie. Vikings weren't white. We'll do another one. William Shakespeare. They have this white dude played William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was a Negro. We'll do King James movie. King James, right? They're using a white character. But when we type in King James Negro, there go to real King James right here. So I'm just saying, like, you're saying it's fictional like Roots. Well, Roots, cool. So let's go to Roots. It's the last thing because it's a little too long. Hopefully y'all watch it. But it says that in the Gambia, West Africa, in 1750, Kunta Kinte is born to Omaro Kinte, a Mandinka warrior, and his wife Benta. He is raised in a Muslim family. When Kunta reaches the age 15, he and other boys undergo semi-secretive tribal under circumcision rite. Meanwhile, Captain Thomas Davis meets the Balars, the owner of a cargo ship named Lord Legendart, and is given command of the vessel in order to trade goods between England, Africa, and America. Only at the last minute he is informed that part of his cargo will consist of African slaves, to his dismay. So yes, black slaves were sent to the Americas. But the person who was actually sent to the black European was white slaves. The black Europeans were sent to the Native Americans. So, just because the movie is fictional, that don't mean that it has no hidden message. You just don't understand it. But yeah, that's it. All praise to the Most High, and I'm out.